Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. Let me turn this off real quick here. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you did a lot of sinning, blaspheming, that sort of thing. Ryan's not going to be with us, I don't think, this morning. She wasn't feeling good. She sent me a message saying she wasn't feeling good. I told her, you know what? Don't worry about it. I can talk. I'm a talker. So we're going to be doing that today. We had a lot go on over the weekend, and it's escalating. It has been escalating. It's getting more and more, I don't want to say interesting, but things are going crazy. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I also want to remind you folks that we have the Ark Encounter protest coming up the 6th of July. Don't forget that. I mean, that's just like wowzers, a couple of weeks away. And I will be there as the MC, assuming the world hasn't ended. And I will be introducing, I'll probably speak and say words, but I'll be introducing all of our wonderful atheist speakers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget, we'll see you there. I'm going to do this thing, and then we'll be back in just a second. All right. Hello, all you wonderful people. Thank you for joining me today. I'll tell you, it's been going crazy. I'm going to do something real quick. I just want to check and see. I'd like to have some music in my head while we're doing this. Let's see if my music will work, because I'm all alone today. It works wonderfully. There we go. All right. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I've got some things to pull up here and we can talk about. Of course, we all know that Trump attacked Iran. I mean, my understanding is now this whenever Trump attacked Iran, he violated U.S. and international laws to do it. Threatening an impeachment. I mean, the U.S., the people on the left, the reasonable people are kind of going crazy about this whole, what he's done, unilaterally making these decisions, blah, 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 blah. But really, it's a distraction. You know, we're not talking about the riots in L.A. anymore. We're not talking about his association with Epstein and Elon Musk calling him out for the Epstein files. And, you know, I wanted to mention something. I better say hello to everyone here before I get too far away. I get all excited and start going. Let's go. Epstein, so I don't forget. Good morning, Derek Cruz. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing great. I mean, we don't get to see you every day. It is an honor. Cusco, thank you for joining us. I hope these keep going. I want to get this one day when my kids are over. I want to go to this one day. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, the Ark Encounter. Well, if we're talking about the Ark Encounter protest, you know, with any luck, they'll eventually shut it down, and we won't have to protest it anymore. We're protesting the fact that they keep using government armament to fund their batshit crazy, and that's kind of the purpose of it. Now it's become more of an atheist gathering. You know, it's starting to develop, I think, into something fantastic. You know, if they, God willing, they ever do shut down the Ark Encounter, well, we can probably find something else where they're sucking off the government and trying to. Good morning, John the Heretic, the Shaking Fist. Thank you. Your sound's gone terrible. Is my sound still shitty? Or do I sound okay? Let's see here. All the phone, the president not having to answer the law. You know, he's gotten to it is choppy. Let me turn off my music, guys. It may just be the music. music. Okay. We'll see if that doesn't help out. We might give it a minute. Okay. Gargled, it says. I wonder if it was because of that. We'll see what happens. Let me give it to like a 5 count. 1, 2. If it doesn't, that's better. Damn it. That means I can't listen to L music. Huh. Well, we'll see. That's all right. I don't mind. Good morning. Okay, so we've got these things to talk about. Let me go back up here. The impeachment list is long and growing, but the problem is that he's got all these conservative politicians, sycophants in Congress who will not impeach him. I mean, it's just doesn't matter what he does, and I think he knows it at this point. What are they gonna do? Who's gonna stop him? I'd like to see. The Democrats can't do shit. They're just worthless. They are, I don't want to say worthless. Did I say worthless already? I mean, we've got a couple of champions out there who've always been champions, AOC, Bernie Sanders, those sorts of things, who more represent what the true left progressive views are here in the United States. But the rest of them are just, weak-spined, and they lack character and personality. Who's going to follow them? Nobody's going to follow them. Who in the chat can name any of them? I mean, I'm sure a couple of you probably can. Can you name any of our Democratic leaders besides AOC and Bernie? Anybody out there? Really? Interesting. Shaking fist. They are literally paid losers. Will Brink sanction us? You are silent. Am I silent? Who is silent? What the hell? Are we having sound? The farce encounter. You are silent. Psycho fans. That's right. I'm fine. I don't know what's going on with my sound. I hope everything's going all right and you guys can hear me. Cryptic Peptide. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let's see here. Lloyd Doggett. So you guys, all right, everything is going okay. So one of the things, Gavin Newsom. There we go, Gavin Newsom. That's right, because he's standing up to Trump. Thank you, Deviant Outcast. But actually, he's just a governor. Thank you, Paul, for becoming a member. That's one of you've been a channel member for 5 whole months. I appreciate you, Paul. Gavin Newsom is a governor. Yeah, he's not one of our leaders in our leaders technically. I mean, he is, but he isn't. He's not Hakeem Jeffries, perhaps, or what's that other guy's name? That old guy. I mean, I don't mean old guy because I'm an old guy, right? I don't mean it in a bad way. Not like that's a bad thing, but he always wears his glasses down like this. He's kind of balding. He's a really, I'm sure, nice guy, but personality wise, what's his name? Oh, Schumer, Chuck Schumer. Thank you for that. Swim. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Jasmine Crockett. Now she is somebody who I think I would appreciate being Ilhan Omar. There you go. And I just don't think they have the support. Matter of fact, Al Green, good on Al Green for what he's been doing. This Ilhan Omar, I think if I'm correct, there is a politician is it Florida, who's calling for her to have her citizenship removed and have her deported. Swim says, I hate him. I'd recognize any description of him. Yeah. It's one of the things that I was really hopeful about Obama. I mean, there was good things that happened with Obama until it came with like dealing with the conservatives. He's always, and that's part of the problem with the liberals, the what do we want to call them? The Democratic Party, the Democrats, the Democratic Party, the proper Democratic Party. That's what's wrong with them. They're freaking spineless. Whenever it comes to dealing with conservatives, they're always like, oh, okay, we'll meet in the middle. And then the conservatives like step back and they fling their arms. And the Democrats are like, what? You're flinging your arms? Let me come closer and meet in the middle. It's called the Overton window, I believe, or something like that. But man, the Theophilus says Obama was the best president Iran ever had. I don't really understand that. I don't guess I know enough about what happened back then. I mean, George Bush's presidency was the one that was giving them weapons, selling them weapons, wasn't it? Just saying. Good morning, Paul Camish. Thank you for joining us. For the super chat, Paul gave us a £10 super chat. That's UK money, real money. Good morning, you crazy people. Chris, £10 UK for a cup of tea. That's right, good cup of tea. We have good tea here in the house. I call it good tea. What do I know about good tea? If I went over there and hung out with Paul, we'd be sitting there and he'd be like, "This is the best tea in the world." I'd be like, "Oh my God, tastes like sock water." For all I know, I'm just saying. Libertarians are fun, I think. Funny. Yeah, I remember one time I was like, "There's a third party? Let me check it out." And I found out they were just idiots. I ran our drone technology. I don't know about that so much. I mean, everybody has it, right? Would they not have gotten it? If they didn't get it from him, would they not have gotten it from anywhere else? I'm not sure. I'd want to look into that. I need to learn more about what he did. Again, I was a progressive. I was a person who liked the idea of Obama because of certain aspects of his thing, but as his presidency went on, I disagreed with a lot of things that he did. So it's just kind of nothing like I disagree with the conservatives, and the things I disagree with Obama about have more to do with him capitulating to conservatives than him actually doing anything I disliked. Something of that nature. John Fabiano, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I stick with Long Island iced tea, yes, until I fall over. I couldn't believe it when I heard Trump was bombing Iran. I know, right? I was trying to study for my lab exam today. Austin Sim says, "Do you think I can get an extension on account of the president starting World War III? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think teachers are that forgiving. I could be wrong. How do you know what sock water tastes like, Chris?" Hey, man, you just can't open the book of my life in the middle and understand every aspect of it. I mean, I've been places. That's all I'm saying. I say no more. Deviant Outcast. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Cryptic Peptide. Rational Poet Jackie. Obama should have expanded the Supreme Court. Man, we liberals, left-wingers, whatever you want to call them, have just gotten our asses so kicked on the Supreme Court. There's an organized intelligence behind the conservative fascist overthrow of our government. And it's been working in concert for quite a while. I mean, since at least 2012, 2013. And then, we've also been there's other things we need to talk about that I want to talk about that I recently kind of had a thing about. Oh my gosh, that just makes total sense. Let's talk about something. Good morning, Zombie God 242. So I've often wondered, what do they have on Donald Trump that makes him capitulate with Russia, right? Have you ever wondered that, why he sucks, he licks Putin's boot, if you will, at every turn? I mean, almost as quickly as Lindsey Graham licks his. So have you ever wondered? And here, let's do a poll thing. Chulu, be proud. All right, so you guys have done the poll. So we've got 29 people have voted. If you don't mind, guys, go ahead and share. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to create a new poll. Wait, I gotta get this poll out of the way. In poll. I'm going to create a new poll. Start a Nuevo Polo. Okay, let me create a new poll here. Start a poll. Why has Trump been so dedicated to Putin? Okay. So I'm going to go P tapes. Okay. Money, debt, Trump owes money. Let's go Trump owes money. Trump owes him money. Okay. Or I'm going to throw, oh, son of a bitch. I hit the wrong button. Don't answer that. Here's the deal. I've recently discovered something. One of the things is, Trump's two of his wives, or all three of his wives, were Eastern European, right? Did you happen to know? You and I, my friends, I'm going to do this poll. Let me just screw the poll. This takes too long. Did you happen to know, my friends, that the girls some of the girls trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein came from the European bloc? Now, this is back during the 80s and 90s when Russia was at its prime. So that means Jeffrey Epstein was, allegedly mob ties to Russia to get this network of girls. Okay. So essentially where this is all really going back to is Russia almost certainly has evidence of Trump, not of PP tapes of Trump dancing with some prostitutes on a bed in Russia. No, he may actually have video of Donald Trump from the Epstein files or from Epstein. That may, because Epstein was in contact with, and his organization was in contact with Eastern European Russia. So you ever wondered what Vladimir Putin has on Donald Trump? Well, I think it's more than just, I say allegedly, I mean, what are in the Epstein files? Well, how come they haven't opened the Epstein files? Donald Trump was asked about, he was done an interview, and we'd have to go look it up. Oh, if only I had a producer. He did this interview, and they're like, hey, I'll tell you what, if you become president, are you going to open up the RFK stuff? Oh, yeah, I'll open up all those secrets will be coming out. UFO stuff, if you become president, are you going to let that stuff? Oh, yeah, I'll open all that stuff. The Epstein files, are you going to open up the Epstein files? Well, there might be stuff in there about the Epstein files that people have fabricated and put in there, and it's not really true. So we'd have to go through it really carefully. What? Your answer is supposed to be yes, just like your answer on all those other things, So, Henry Mars, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Rational Poet Jackie, Trump supporters don't give a shit what he did. No, they don't really. They really care. What their main concern is that he is hurting the people they want to hurt. Period. End of story. Full stop. Even if he hurts them in the process, as long as they're still hurting the people he wants hurt, almost always they'll go on. He has to really hurt them, before they notice what's going on. Good morning, nostalgic of Aberoth Dragon. I'm going to call you Nos. Maybe. How you doing? His followers already know he liked to look at little girls in dressing rooms. That's true. How could you not know this by now? I mean, this has been all over the place forever. About him going in and seeing the teen girls at the Teen USA pageants. You could almost argue that was why he bought the pageant, to give him that exclusive access. So what if that's the deal? What if our country is being led by a huge PDF file who was, in fact, and still is, compromised to Vladimir Putin and Russia? Now, let me ask you, if Vladimir Putin, an enemy of the United States for his entire life, were to actually get somebody in power, a Manchurian candidate, if you will, in power in the United States, in the presidency, what would he have that person do? Hurt the United States in every possible way, financially, economically, socially, destroying all their relations with their neighbor countries that they've had 200 years of good relations with. I mean, I could argue that Vladimir Putin, if he did put a Manchurian candidate into office, would have had a hard time doing more damage to the United States than Donald Trump has. Donald Trump has removed, as far as I'm pretty sure he hasn't come back, removed all the protections, the cyber protections, shut down the cyber protections for the United States. Almost all of them for our governmental stuff. And then the ones that they do still have, like the VA and the other governmental places that have, I mean, that was already kind of shit anyway. Ask anybody about the IT at the VA. It hasn't gotten better under Trump, I will say. The office says, did he sniff their hair or shower with them? I don't know. Did he? Did Biden really do that? Now, see, you can go on the off list. You can actually go on the internet and look and see that the sniffing of the hair was a fabricated video. You can go look that up. Do you want to know the truth, or do you want to keep spreading lies? Also, the thing about showering with his daughter, that was allegedly came from his daughter's diary. When you go look in the diary, that shit is nowhere in there. That is also completely fabricated. Do you want to go look that up yourself? Find some neutral sources on that? Maybe Snopes or some business, or do you just want to keep spreading that ignorance? Because I know you're talking about Biden. These references you've made, I mean, we have images of Donald Trump with his teenage girl sitting on his lap at a party right? We're doing the grindy thingy. We've got all kinds of images. He's even said that if she weren't his daughter, yeah, I mean, Donald Trump has been all manner of yucky about his own daughter openly in public. It seems to me that Deviant Outcast says, it seems to me that most of the U.S. has completely forgotten the fact that Trump worked with Putin, allowing Russia to interfere in the 2016 election. Yeah, because Donald Trump suppressed the Mueller report, that's what that was doing. It was, and really, that's Obama's fault. Mm-hmm. Obama and the Department of Justice under Obama should have stopped Donald Trump's presidency and prosecuted him at that time. They should have, because they had the evidence. But they didn't want to be seen as being political. They didn't think there was any way he was going to win the presidency. And look what it got us. There's photos and videos of Trump with Epstein. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the notion that if Epstein had files on him, and also Epstein got some of the stable of his victim girls, allegedly the young women or girls that he trafficked, he got from the Eastern Russia bloc. The Eastern Russia had connections with Russia. That's all you got to know, is that they had connections with Russia. It's a stretch. I don't think it's so much of a stretch. Not whenever you see all the things. It makes me wonder now why Donald Trump has actually kind of almost started to stand up to Putin. And I suspect, here's what the thinking is. I suspect Donald Trump has almost got to the point where he's looking at what's going on in the world, and he figures if that stuff comes out from Putin, he'll just deny it and say that, it's all AI fabricated lies. Whatever video he may have. He couldn't have done that successfully a few years back, Let's see what Theophilus has to say. Did he sniff their hair or shower with them? Gotcha. You said that. Put in by Americans easily lead. No, he wasn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. Sure. Again, go look the stuff up. Don't ask me, man. Go look the stuff up, Theophilus. Go check it out for yourself. And there are some, now I don't really know the circumstances about it. I wasn't one of those families, but there are some families where parents bathe with their children. At what age they stop, I don't know. What age do women stop breastfeeding their children? I mean, I've seen 5-year-olds hanging on, and I'm not a person that gets to say whether that's right or wrong. That's not my department. I don't have those rights. So whether I don't know nothing about the story about Biden and him allegedly showering with his daughter. My understanding is that is not in the diary that people are basing these fabrications on. Would you be surprised if the right wing did base fabrications off just anything? Would it surprise you to find out, based on what we know of them? Save the goat, pseudo history. Thank you very much for that. Shaken Fist says, I think Hillary had more of an influence on Trump getting elected than Putin. He did pay for her Senate campaigns in large part and such. He did pay for her. You think Vladimir Putin paid for Hillary Clinton's campaigns? You think that? That's interesting. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, the shaken fist. I think, like, if we go back here now, Donald Trump has gotten money. Now, back then, they actually had, rules about where you got your finances and stuff like that. Remember? Donald Trump kind of brought it into those sorts of things with his whole, I didn't pay for that sex with that woman out of my campaign fund, which really, really did, and all of that, so now it doesn't kind of matter anymore. But yeah, back in the Hillary's day, it would have mattered. There would have been a severe money trail. Trump paid for her campaign. Sorry. I was like, wait a second. Trump did give her money at some point back in the day. I was very confused. Shaking fist. I was like, what? I don't think that's right. But actually, at least with Trump's more recent campaigns, he has gotten, I want to say, billions of dollars through his Trump coin and through other cryptocurrency and other things. He's gotten billions of dollars from other governments I mean, this is the most corrupt president in history. Easily the most corrupt president in history. Obama and Clinton were just as involved with Russia, if not more than Trump. Clinton sold Russia 20% of our uranium. I don't know if Clinton sold Russia 20% of our uranium. I don't know that happened. Did Clinton literally take hundreds of millions of dollars worth of loans from Russia? Maybe you should go get your shit figured out, Theophilus. I mean, there are differences, significant differences. One of them Clinton did, like, if he did that, I mean, what is it about the difference, though? What does it matter? It's one thing where we do international business with stuff. What is that? I mean, it's sort of like people getting mad about us giving billions of dollars or some shit, hundreds of millions of dollars to Iran a few years ago. But really, that money was theirs to begin with. It was actually their money we were holding for whatever stupid reason. I don't remember what it was. But people also, you can't sell uranium to Russia. You can't sell military equipment to Iran under Reagan, but Reagan did it, right? And and I don't really know. I'd have to look up more about the uranium sale to Russia. I'd want to know more about that. How much she was directly involved with that sort of thing. You can hardly, now Dade Murphy does have a point. I am kind of, in a sense, defending a terrorist state. A lot of the weapons that I think we ended up fighting against in Afghanistan were weapons that we gave Afghanistan so they could fight Russia. Russia actually had a democratically elected state until we, wanting their oil and they wouldn't give it to us or sell it to us, helped overthrow their government and install the Ayatollahs and the religious theocracy that was there. And then they turned on us. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Good morning, Dave Murphy. Thank you for joining us. You can't sell uranium. Raven Lunatic, looking outwards as to why Trump was elected may lead to some answers, but in truth, Trump was elected by American stupidity and ignorance. That's not a bad point. And I've made the argument that they spent at least $1 billion misinforming the United States, between Fox News, AON, all that kind of business. Then you have the hundreds of millions of dollars spent on misleading ads in YouTube and Facebook and that sort of thing. And then the just direct misinformation spread out there. I would used to get in my Tesla, because I used to have 2 Teslas during the campaign. I would get into my Tesla, because it was not just the presidential campaign. It was a down ticket, a whole bunch of things were going on campaign. And I would get in my Tesla, and it's every time you got into it, the TuneIn app, as soon as I got started my car, would start playing an ad from a local conservative going, my opponent wants to open all the borders and let all the criminals come in. That's absolutely not. It was total misinformation. Total, complete fucking lies. And it was horrific. It was amazing that radio stations would even put that shit on. They should be held accountable for that. Fox News, I think, should be held accountable for what's happened to our nation under Donald Trump. Yeah, under the conservatives. They're a big part of what has happened here. Bush Sr., Rumsfeld, Oliver North, right? Selling weapons to Iran. Why were they selling weapons to Iran? So Iran could fight Russia. Ukraine is really about the Polish corridor. Wouldn't surprise. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, one of the things going on is that right now, and I'm going to say the words, I don't know, my channel don't get a lot of views anyway, so I don't know if it could hurt me too much, but there is a genocide going on in Gaza right now. And it's because of the Zionist right-wing nationalist party that's in control, Benjamin Netanyahu and his business. They are just killing people indiscriminately now. That, like, people seeking food and medical help and all this stuff. There were like 40 people on a live just yesterday. This is not 40 militants. It's not 40 armed people attacking. No, it's 40 people seeking aid, women, children, journalists. There is an absolutely devastating genocide going on right now. I'm not an anti-Semite. You can't charge me with that. I am an anti-Zionist person, just like I'm an anti-MAGA. I'm an anti-fascist. And as an anti-fascist, what you have, and I know this is going to be a hard thing for a lot of people to process, but the Zionists in charge of Israel's government right now are no different than the Nazis in charge of Germany. I mean, look absolutely at what they're doing. It's just a smaller scope and a smaller scale because there's fewer of them and the circumstances are different. But look at their actions. Look what they're doing. They're just killing people everywhere. It's not self-defense anymore. It was never about self-defense. I would seek an investigation to determine if Israel knew Hamas was going to attack and let them attack. Actually knew they were going to come across the border October 7th and let them do so because they knew that once they did, they could just go ahead rather than stopping it. They could have stopped it. I feel like because really, the IDF, the Israeli Mossad did not know that was going to happen? Really? No, I think they let it happen. I think they let it happen to give their Zionist militant side the opportunity to just go hog wild. And now they are. And look what's happening. Now we're not looking at that very much anymore. We're looking at Iran because now America's involved in Iran. So we're not paying attention so much as Israel continues to clean out Gaza. And part of the deal we were talking about here in the chat, we were talking about you said it, the Arabian, the corridor. You mentioned the corridor in the chat. Well, there's also this corridor in Gaza where the Israelis want to put another canal, and that way they can start just like the Suez Canal. They want to put another canal there, build it, and then, well, they can't really do that because that's Gaza. That's not their land. But so they're going to take it. They're going to kill everybody there, and they're going to move them all out if they could. If they'd leave, I don't think they'd have a problem with them leaving. But they, just kill them all, take the land. And you know what? Israel has a history of this. Not Israel necessarily. Let me speak plainly. The Zionists, the religious Jews, the MAGAs of Judaism, if you will, they have a history of this. Their religious books are based on this shit. Abraham, the Abrahamic religion, that dude, his whole mission was to go take land from other people and kill them in doing it. That was his whole thing. His child, do the same. You know what? Your descendants to 400 will own all this. I mean, it was just, go here and take all this land. All the land to the east, to the west, to the north, and the south is yours. Or whenever he gave it to Lot, he goes down to Lot and he says, Abram tells Lot, all of that land over there is yours. Go take it. So where did Lot go? Lot went and lived in Sodom. That must have been his town. He must have been the king of Sodom, right? Because that was all his land. And the Strait of Hormuz, that's different, actually. The Strait of Hormuz is this. I've got a map over here ready to talk about the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is where a lot of the oil, almost all of the oil that comes out of the Middle East comes out through the Strait of Hormuz. That's why it's been so hotly contested for like the last 50 years, almost my entire lifetime, because they had Iran and the oil conflicts back in the 70s and then the 80s and the blah. Let's see here, the Strait of Hormuz. So let me go here and I'm going to share the Strait of Hormuz. Share Strait of Hormuz. There we go. All right. So the Strait of Hormuz is right here. If you can't see. Son of bitch. Why can't you see? Why can you not see? Anyway, the Strait of Hormuz is one of those straits where all the oil comes from. Why do you mean a jerk? Anyway, now there is in the Strait of Hormuz. It's a little narrow section like this where land and stuff, right? So there's goes through there. One part of that strait belongs to, I think it's Oman. The other side belongs to Iran, and we have had problems with Iran going way back about having them. I don't know if you're old enough to remember they used to have the little gunboats that would come out and threaten people in the Strait of Hormuz, and cause shutdowns and all that business. And that's sort of what's going on now. I'm frustrated that my share thingy is not sharing. Why for you not sheriff the thing? I'm in the right thing. Oh, am I in the right thing? Studio One? Yeah, I'm in the right thing. I don't know. Anyway, it's Ryan's fault. So that's kind of the deal. I mean, essentially, now we've got the Strait of Hormuz. We've got Pakistan is talking about backing up Iran. Now, Pakistan has nuclear weapons. I have a Russian an article over here that you probably can't freaking see. Let me try this again. One last time. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. All right, where is it? Let's share. Why for art thou not working? Anyway, so Russia, other nations are ready to supply Iran with nukes, according to a source in Russia. The source in Russia, I don't know how much you can rely on the source of Russia. The source in Russia is former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Yeah, the former Russian president has come out and said other nations are ready to come out and give Iran nukes. All right, now, did you know, you guys knew about the Iranian hypersonic missiles they have, right? You've seen the Iron Dome and all that shit, the Sling of David or whatever the hell they call it, because they're all religious nutbags. You've seen this where the Iranian rockets are coming in and the Iron Dome comes up, boom, 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 and they catch some of them, they boom, that's kind of neat. They don't have enough of that. It's not really doing all that good if you go watch the videos, but that's what they got. But Iran also has these hypersonic missiles. So you'll see here comes these regular rockets coming in. They're coming in like this. And then here comes this hypersonic missile. Pow. And they can't stop that. Let's take Iran has hypersonic missiles. The U.S. just bombed Iran. Hypersonic missiles can take out U.S. aircraft carriers. And there would be almost nothing they could do about it. And we have two of them in the area, each one of them holding between 5,000 and 6,000 American troops right now over in the Middle East, within striking range of Iran and their hypersonic missiles. I would think one of the reasons why they may not use them to attack our aircraft carriers would probably be because they can't target them. They don't know where they are. They're not really sure exactly where they are well enough to go shoot them. Now, they know where the Israeli cities are, right? They don't move. But with these things, So that's kind of my thing. What's up, hypersonic people? Theoretically, thank you for joining us. AOC did not vote for Zionism. AOC did not vote to Zionism equals anti-Semitism. And that's one of the things is that there are two different, we need to draw a line. And I'm not the guy, really. I'm not the guy. Why am I guy making it? We need to have two different phrases. Anti-Semitism, anti-Semite, and anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism. Because there's a difference. I'm not against Jewish people. I'm against Jewish MAGA. MAGA Jews, essentially, MAGA Jewish people are in control. The nationalist right-wing religious party of their government, just like here, the Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu is essentially the Donald Trump of Israel, and their party have control. And they have had since not long before the October 7th attack, whenever Netanyahu came back into power. So that's who's in control over there. Does it make if you didn't know that, now it might make a little more sense as to why once even Hamas was debilitated, was no longer attacking, why they kept going. Because they want to kill every freaking Muslim in Gaza. They want to get them all out. They want to populate all of it. They wanted their colonialists, just like as you would expect. Zionist, bad juju. John Hudson, that's kind of funny. Let me catch up with the chat, guys. Sorry, I've just kind of been ranting. Aircraft carriers always sail in a group. That is true, John. That is true. They do sail in a group. I'm just saying that within the resources of that group, they may not have the ability, especially if more than one, say 3 or 4 missiles were fired at one time towards these aircraft carriers. I mean, I'm not wishing this sort of thing. And it's not like I'm putting the idea out there that they probably haven't had already, right? But then we've also got to think that let's talk. My understanding is the reports have come out that we really didn't do anything. They already knew those sites were being targeted and possibly were going to be destroyed. So they'd removed all of the sensitive materials and equipment from those sites. There were my understanding, no fatalities in these 3 assaults on 3 different locations in Iran. None. So they knew it was coming. So we did nothing. Donald Trump did nothing but expose himself, violate U.S. and international laws, and then he still didn't hit the target he was looking for. And now, every American death that happens going forward from an Iranian sleeper cell or any of that business is directly shouldered by Donald Trump. What he should have done is he should have met with people. Now, I'm not a supporter of the Islamic regime in Iran. I am absolutely not. And I'm all for getting them out of power. There's a way to do it. Israel was working on that. We did not need to get involved. Our involvement did nothing other than send a message, several messages. One, you can't trust the United States word. Donald Trump told them he was going to give them, 2 weeks to negotiate a peace with Israel. It's not like they were going to do anything. If they were going to attack Israel with a nuclear missile, they would have attacked Israel with a nuclear weapon. Points. Now, another thing is that we've still got now all of a sudden you've got other countries in the area possibly willing to give them nuclear weapons. Now, if I were Iran, I would be more concerned about the nuclear weapons, because these nuclear weapons that they could get from anywhere will fit on their hypersonic missiles. What source are we talking about? What are we talking? I see something in the chat. Somebody's needing sources for what? I'm just some jackass on the internet. Go look it up yourself if you're talking about sources. Ricardo Gomez says Zionists are powerful in both Zionists of Jewish Zionists and Christian Zionists. There are Christians out there who believe that Jesus has to go back, and that they believe that Israel has to be attacked by all the countries and God will do a thing. So there are a lot of people led by religion, that thing that destroys good, who believe that Israel needs to be attacked. So God will step in and the end times will come. Theoretically says evangelicals are some of the worst Zionists. You were asked for sources. I got you. What sources were you asked for, though? What's good enough? What source did you want, though? What? I'm just looking here. Let me see. There's a lot going on in the chat. Yes, Iran and Russia are allied. Now that kind of makes things go. Now, who is Vladimir Putin? Who does he like more? Who benefits Vladimir Putin more? Donald Trump and the sock puppets that run the U.S. government here, because they're clearly on Putin's side. I mean, really, they're turning their back on Ukraine and all that business, or Iran. What benefit does Iran? Now, I could see how historically Iran was an antagonist, and by giving them weapons, it caused problems for other people in the Middle East that made things good for Russia. We have goats in the chat. Hello, Miss Non Sequitur. Ember is here. Good morning, Ember. Oh, looks like we're needing goats. I think you know what's going to happen. I am no Ryan today. Ryan wasn't feeling well this morning. Here, I got 40 people watching. Let me tell y'all something. Ryan's not here today. She wasn't feeling good this morning. She said she might be here. I'm like, I got it. I can rattle for a while. But one of the things I've been thinking about is either rotating hosts or like letting Ryan have off for a week or time or something like that, because it's a tough row to hoe to show up every day. and commit to that. So I've thought about cycling in other hosts or, stuff like that. And I may see to how that may work. We'll see. Nuclear war is over, says Pseudo History. Hadn't even started yet. October 7th. October 7th was not the start of the conflict. Well, see, it just depends on what we're talking about specifically. October 7th, we could say it was the end of a long pseudo peace and the beginning of the slaughter of the Gazans. Mossad cannot have known. They can't have been that incompetent. So I really think they let it happen. The conservative government of Israel let it happen so they could bring retribution upon Hamas, giving them the opportunity to go after Iran. Gaza, fully onto Gaza. And now, as they're committing their full-on open genocide right now, just killing journalists, doctors, medical people seeking medical aid. They're just going after everybody. And now we're not even looking anymore because our president has bombed Iran. And actually, really, I thought it was kind of odd that Israel would attack Iran considering they had so much going on in Gaza. But Israel is attacking Gaza and Iran. Man, that's a lot of weapons they have. Where do they get all those weapons? I wonder. Anybody know where they got all those weapons? Are those like Russian rifles they're using? Of course, they have some of their own weapons. Deviant Outcast. I would recommend everyone watch the documentary Praying for Armageddon. It's on YouTube in 2 parts, Swedish, Norwegian, German. I want to go look at that. Praying for Armageddon. Let me look at that. I'm going to look that up on the YouTube of Use. Let's go here. YouTube. Let me do this now. Elsewise, I'll forget. Praying for Armageddon. Awesome. There it is. I want to watch that. That sounds like a very interesting thing. Why evangelicals are, well, I'm not seeing. Oh, I see it there. Buy or rent. Full documentary. Cool. I'll find it. I'll watch it. It's cool. Thank you for that. I'll check it out because that's what they are. They're praying for the end of the world. And they want their Jesus God figure, God man, to come down in his haste and unalive all the non-believers because that's what they're waiting for. That's their whole religious shtick. Ricardo Gomez, good morning. Ricardo Gomez says October 7th was the onset of Gaza genocide. That's right. That's right. That was the beginning. Mm-hmm. They felt like they had a reason. Now, as far as the Palestine and Hamas did not attack out of the blue. Well, that's another good thing too. That's a tough call. You're right. I would have to actually question their motives for attacking. Why did they attack? Of course, we over here can always go, well, they're Muslims, they hate Jews, and they were just waiting for the right opportunity for Israel to fall asleep so they could get in there and attack. I don't know why I said that like that, but I did. Because I can. You can't. If you could, you would. But until you can, don't mock me for doing it. So here's Swim says, we gave over $2 billion to Israeli military funding in 2024 alone, but Trump calls Iran the greatest state sponsor of terrorism. Sapien cephalopod, you can blame anyone. It just depends on where you want to draw that line in history. See, that's the thing right there. You really can. That's why I was saying it was the end of a tentative peace, a subtle peace or whatever in the beginning of one thing, because this shit just goes all the way back. And it's all based on their religion. I know a lot of the political part gets in there too, but the people on the right wing, like the Donald Trumps of the world, the Netanyahus of the world, they may or may not believe in their own God that they coddle to, but their followers do. And that's how they get power, by claiming to do the work of their God. And because of the nature of the God monster in the Bible, how violent and ugly, and go take that land, kill all the people, kill all the men and women, and take the girls who have not known, because this is the God they worship. This is how they act. I'm surprised there's as many good people in the group as there are, based on the priming, the programming they have had from childhood. Every thought in your heart is evil from childhood or something. Is that what God said? All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. People were asking for, I think it was it the goat or was it I don't remember if it was the goat or if it was I think it was the goat. You were looking for goat. Was it goat or Pharaoh? Miss Non-Sequitur is a goat fan. She likes the goat. I will give you goat. I'll give you both if you want. Right now, I'm going to go, there's the goat. I see the goat. I will be back. Where is the goat scented flesh candles? And go.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh, no. The Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
All right, so we are back. I hope you enjoyed the Ghost Scented Flesh Candles commercial. Let's see. Got goat on my scrot, no candle involved, just a summer in Wyoming. Yeah, those special boots that are wide on the ankle there so you can slide their little hooves in there. I don't know how I know about those. Because I'm from Texas and we know a lot of Oklahomans. Haven't seen that one in a long time. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what. If you want the Altar Boys, I'll give you Altar Boys right now. Deviant the Outcast, because it's only a 30-second thing, and I'm all alone today. Ryan's out sick, so I'm going to do the thing. Is our humble parish tired of constant litigation, drained by bloodthirsty lawyers, sucking the collection plates dry? Well, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you. See, there we go. That's all better. Theophilus says, Baptists don't screw standing up because they don't want people to think they're dancing. I wonder how Baptists do. Are Baptists still frown on dancing? Is that really a thing still? Just curious. Can we also, Michael Wolf asks, can we also save a child by burning a candle? Well, in fact, coming soon, once we get our line of products up and going, we're going to have a Jephthah's Daughter version of the flesh-scented goat. It'd be actually a human-scented flesh candle. I think we may not call it human-scented. We may call it pork-scented. There's not much difference, really. Have you been to Walmart? Oh, I'm eating a cookie, by the way. I kind of forgot that was going on. Long pork. That's right, huh? Pseudo history. The goat knows the way through the mountains. Follow the goats. That's it. Sapien cephalopod. Long pork. The cannibal name for human meat. Michael Bell says, when I was one 3 decades ago, not a long pork. I think he means a Christian. A Baptist. Dancing and beach fun was taboo for Baptists. Yeah, very true. Every head bowed, every eye shut. Raven Lunatic says, from my experience, human meat tastes a bit salty and sweaty. Pixar didn't happen, Raven. I'm just saying. I hope you all had a dumb as a sack of fucking hammers. Good morning, Chris Fairley. How are you doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. What was the name of their attack? Midnight Hammer or some business? Let's see. Why? Because it is bloody hot outside. Is it? Oh, is it? Let's see. Right now, it's early in the morning. I say it's almost 8 o'clock, and it is a little warm. I have all my, I don't know what the temperature is outside. Why forth is my computer not showing me? 70. It's 70 degrees outside. Little sweaty, though. I got lights on and all that business, so it gets a little warmer in here for me. Simply Secular Dave says, I've never eaten human, but I've tasted a few. I know. Some of them don't taste bad as long as you can get them to wash it. I'm just saying. Chris Fairley says, I've never encountered people as stupid or as insane as MAGA people. I mean, they're just... Part of the deal is we've got all of this misinformation going on, being put on by the Russian government, by the Conservative Party, all that business. But then half of them want to believe it. Even if it weren't true, they want to believe it. It's just, it hurts my brain. Again, and I've kept watching the news. Now we have oil companies are evacuating their employees from Iraq, which Iraq, as you know, is between Iran and Israel, right there in the middle. Professor says Iran will not want to escalate conflict. I wouldn't think Iran would want to unless they can get some kind of backing from either China or Russia. But once they do get some kind of backing, then, you know. Chris Fairley, a lot of the misinformation, though they're all adding misinformation when they know it's misinformation, MAGA is woven together with lies from Trump to his staff, to his supporters, even to him. What's wrong with Ryan? I think a lot, probably. Therapy, nothing therapy wouldn't. Oh, you mean like why is she not here today? Ryan, if you're watching. I don't know. She said she wasn't feeling good this morning and she might make it in. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got it. So we got it. We ain't scared. Ryan, so you feel how Chris looks. Thank you, Raven. 83 degrees over in Germany in book burning units. Fuck. In book burning units. I get it. Hi, Michael. Sorry. SS Dave, that's cool. Nazi propaganda. That's right. Ryan, feel better. And that's the whole thing. Part of the deal is, there's a different, I've been working on a term. And I haven't locked in on that term yet, but there's got to be a term that applies to this mentality of people. It's a group of people. It's a mentality throughout history of people. And you can see them and you go, oh, yeah, those are the same people here that historically were there. The same people here that are MAGAs out on the street are the same people back in the 60s yelling at the little black girl that she shouldn't be going to school with the white kids. These are the same people who were Sieg Heiling back in the 30s of the last century. Not the same people, the same mentality of people, the same ilk, if you will. I don't know if you know this, but here in the United States, during the 1920s and 30s, we had a U.S. Nazi party of a fashion. They held gatherings at Madison Square Garden. Let's see if there can. I don't think that was what they called. Oh yeah, that was what it's called. Anyway, I'm going to look this up and see. Bring more into this. 1958, they had different, but they had American groups of Nazis that were, that were all about Hitler, that supported Hitler. I don't think they were socialists. Socialism was part of the name. Part of the thing, though, is when Hitler, just like America, right? America is a democratic republic, but Donald Trump is turning it into an authoritarian state. Part of the way he's doing that is by appealing to the people and telling them, hey, you're abused. I can make things better for you. Everything is bad. That's the same thing Hitler did. Hitler appealed to the people. That's part of the reason for the name, the Nazi Socialist Party, and however it became sort of socialist in there. But they weren't really socialists by any stretch of the imagination. Ryan is here. Oh, Ryan, we were just talking about you. I hope it was good. Was it good? I think it was good. Ryan says, yeah, and Trump had nerve to talk about Nazis in France. I know. He actually spoke good. He called the people in the war dead in France who were buried over there, who died fighting the Nazis. Those are the ones I believe he called suckers and losers, wasn't it? Or losers, or he was referring to them. A lot of Hitler's ideas came from or were inspired by the U.S. That's not wrong. Hitler got a lot of his ideas. We had a growing eugenics movement, this otherism. That's right. U.S. is not a clean slate at all. It's easy for me I have this notion of a Captain America-esque, what America is supposed to be like, because of how I was raised and indoctrinated. But now that I'm older, I realize that's not really the case. And of course, I learned a long time ago, like the problems we're having in Iran right now, whose fault is that? That's our fault. Yeah. Who put the Ayatollah Khomeini in charge? The religious right-wing party. We did that back in the 50s of the last century. We've kind of, what is it Dane called us earlier? I think he said we're a terrorist state. Yeah. Good morning, KCA Randy. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a great day so far. Sweden is socialist. Yeah, I would love to go to Sweden. Why don't they move south? Because it's too hot there. Cold. It's too cold there. That's it. Hitler took over the Socialist Party by killing most of the leaders. Was that one of the Night of the Long Knives? I think that was what that was called. Either the Night of the Long Knives. I think it was the Night of the Long Knives. Yeah, I think that was what it's called. How to Rule an Asteroid. Hey, how are you doing? Can't stay, but popping in to say hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Radical Punk is here. Guten Tag. Good morning, Radical Punk. Thank you for joining us. Guten Morgen. Wie geht's? Ich bin ein Berliner. Sorry. That's all I know. I could have said I'm a shithead. That's the only other word I know. But I'm not going to say that. Ein Frankfurter. Fun fact, says Ember, one prominent victim of state eugenics is still alive because she was sterilized by South Carolina for being black and poor in 2012. We're still doing it. We're still doing it if we could. I tell you what, that mindset of people would still do it if they could. They're only restrained by the strength of good people who hold them back from doing bad things. Good morning, Brent. Hey, thank you for joining us. Guitar Dog is here. He took out South America leadership and other rivals that night. Oh, yes, you're talking about not South America, but yes. He took out, there was several of them he took out, Russian Communist Party, but he took out members of his own party too, who weren't fully supporting him. And I wonder, do you folks think that we're getting near something like that? Do you think you don't think Donald Trump would ever pull out his own Night of the Long Knives, do you? Where he would send his ICE Gestapo thugs after people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. They're the only real threats from the conservative, from the liberal party, the left-wing party. Bernie Sanders isn't even a Democrat. He's ICE agents could at least wear matching brown shirts. They really should wear brown shirts, shouldn't they? That wouldn't be really Nazi. To be fair, my friends, Sapien Self-Pod, ICE agents would be more equivalent to Gestapo. or the SS, the Gestapo, I think, where they wore, militant uniforms and stuff like that. The brown shirts would actually be more like the MAGA people who show up just because they're radicalized at parties and groups. I mean, we're in Nazi Germany during whenever they were doing their own campaigning or whatever. The brown shirts would beat up any people who got there and shouted, "Trump is bad. I mean, Hitler's bad," sort of thing. That's part of the reason, if you remember right, that's part of the reason why Trump was wanting his people to beat up beat up the protesters in his group. Go ahead and hit them and all this other stuff he would tell them. He envied the brown shirts. If only his MAGA people could be that way. Now everybody's got a cell phone, so if they did that sort of thing, it'd be all over all the time everywhere. Chris says, no, it'd be like Putin, where opponents just mysteriously fall from windows. That might be a sort of thing. Yeah, that might happen. Yeah. MAGA showed up in Charlottesville. They did, didn't they? They showed out with their damn little pitchforks and their little flames and whatnot. Defenestration, yeah. Brown shirts, RSA. Yeah, okay, I got you. Yes. I don't know how to say it. Let's see. Sturmabitling. 4 million of them. Right. See, there's so many of them. It's a good hunk of the population. And again, I've said this before. One of the reasons why the Nazi movement and that movement died out so much wasn't because they gave up. It was because they were killed. Because they got killed off in World War II. So, brown shirts, RSA. Yep. Let's see. Is everything still going there? It is. Awesome sauce. My little thing up there froze for a second. Deviant Outcast. It was performed by the SA afterwards. Hitler had the SA leader Ernst Röhm imprisoned and killed. Pretended it to be a coup, but it was ordered by. That's true. That's kind of what I was saying. There were these things after he took power. He went after those people who, even in his own party, did not support him before the night of the long knives. So after the night of the long knives, you couldn't really go, oh, hey, you know what? All those bad things I said about you before, I didn't really mean them. You couldn't do that because the people who said bad things about him before, even if they were in their own party, his own party, he would unalive them. So I'm going to go watch. I'm going to try to spend some time doing some history studying because of the circumstances. They're tired. Hey, Chet Klug, thank you for joining us. I don't recognize your name. If you're new, welcome to the damn nation. Thank you for joining us. Says their attire hasn't changed since the Brooks Brothers riot in Miami 22,000 vote count. Really, a lot of them on the right just need to go back to just admit it. Just wear the hat, man. Just wear the hat. If you're a fascist, call yourself a fascist. Be proud. Don't be ashamed. Don't be scared. Guitar Dog says, I watch too many, Guitar Dog watches too many WW2 documentaries. I used to enjoy those. You could watch a lot of those movies and you can see about how there's thousands of men over here and thousands of men, and this war army came over this way and this army came over here, and there was 2 million soldiers came from Struckenberg or what, and you go through all that. But really, whenever you get to the top, there's really only a few people. There's like 5 or 6 guys standing around a map going this and this. And those few people make the decisions that destroy the lives of millions of people. And we got to figure out a way to get away from that. Personally, I think that's what we've got to do. One of the things we like to talk about here is how, I'm a fan of democracy to a degree. Aren't we all supposed to be a fan of democracy? But is democracy good if the people are uneducated or intentionally misinformed? So I don't think it is. So I think that one of the things that we should do as a democracy going forward is 2 things. 1, ensure all of our citizens who vote are educated. And 2, ensure that we do not allow misinformation in our news, in our campaigns. these things, because when you allow misinformation in a campaign, when the leader who lied and cheated to get his way into that office, when he gets that power, he hurts people. He hurts millions of people. Whenever I looked up how many people have died because of Elon Musk's cut to USA aid, it was almost 500,000 people just in June. Just in June. Or was it 50,000? It was a lot. It was a shit ton of people. It was a lot of people. It was not a zero number. It was a non-zero number, a significantly non-zero number. And here's something else. Left-handed Jedi. Did you see that Musk's AI called him out on his lies? Absolutely. And what's he going to do? He's going to try to forcibly reprogram the AI and give it its own facts. So now, if anybody out there uses Grok, I would stop using Grok. I'm very hesitant and very suspicious of the AI stuff. I'm like, and I'll check this and I'll tell it to triple check. Sometimes I'll take things from one AI and put it in another AI and go verify this for me. Stuff like that. So the fact that, and like some of the questions they're asking, so is Elon Musk trying to install an authoritarian, helping Trump trying to install authoritarian dictatorship in the United States? If you go ask that to any of the other AIs, they'll all tell you yes. And so would Grok until it did, and then he has to go reprogram it. Good morning, Vic. Raven Lunatic. Has America ever been a democracy? It could be said no. Then that's true. That's the whole deal. We're not a pure democracy. We are a democratic representative state. That means that we have representatives who are elected by the people, and allegedly the representatives are supposed to reflect what the population, right? But now part of the reason why we don't have a full-blown democracy is because back in 1776, how could you get all the people of the United States to vote? It'd be crazy throughout. But now we could. Now we could all vote. I mean, we've got banking apps that are absolutely secure and unhackable for the most part, and we could use that kind of technology to vote. Every American could vote. That's only half the problem. It only matters if every American is educated, if every American understands of the ramifications of their vote, and if they're not misled by their candidates. Now, one of the things, ranked choice is a good one, by the way. One of the things is that we talk about these conservatives. It seems like they're fracturing over this Iran thing, but I don't think that'll last long. One dog whistle to another dog whistle to another dog whistle. But who out there, what's going on with the Epstein files? Donald Trump was called out by his right-hand man, Elon Musk, who has seen the Epstein files. Why aren't we talking about the Epstein files? Well, because Trump decided, let's go ahead and send National Guard troops in where he didn't need to be, and he intentionally escalated that. Now everybody was all of a sudden no longer talking about the Epstein files and Donald Trump. They're talking about how he's become an authoritarian and putting troops in California. And then the whole country starts uprising. We've got people everywhere. And now we're no longer looking at that. We're not looking at the No Kings protests anymore. We're not talking about the millions of people showed up, because now we're talking about how Donald Trump has attacked Iran. At what point does any or all of this catch up to Donald Trump? And Simply Secular Dave says the Epstein files are tucked away safely in the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. I would suspect that if Donald Trump ever really got his hands on them, he would destroy them. They would be destroyed. Why keep them? That's just crazy. Yeah. Ember says, right, Chris, one of the reasons the founders gave for using representatives was the masses are asses. The reps are supposed to be the educated best thinkers. Really. And there are a lot of things that we should even have to rely on government's representatives for anymore. Computers and networks and all that shit should be able to take care of resource management is what I'm talking about. Our entire society would be better world over if resource management was taken over by by computers and stuff like that. Good morning, right-handed Sith. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Staying out of trouble. Neuro Geezer, how are you doing? When they hide the evidence, assume the worst. The Epstein files proves that Trump violently raped teenage girls. Neuro Epstein, I don't know if you just got here or not, but let me ask you something. I'm going to go over this again. You know, Donald Trump has capitulated to Vladimir Putin on so many things. We've seen it over, and so many people have been like, why is Donald Trump doing this? Why is he giving in to Putin on everything? And I at least thought it was because maybe Vladimir Putin had some PP tapes. Remember, it was the PP tapes we thought he had? Well, you're sitting here going, where's your comment? But one of the reasons, nope, that's not it. Nothing to hide the evidence, assume the worst. Epstein files prove that Trump violated. All right, so where did Epstein get some of those girls? He got them from Russia. From the Eastern Bloc of Russia. They were Ukrainian. Where did Trump get some of his wives? I guess all of his wives were Eastern Bloc, formerly USSR, Soviet, right? Soviet Russia. So the notion that Donald Trump, here's the notion. I don't think it was the PP tapes. I allege that it was actually Vladimir Putin got a hold of Epstein files, got a hold of evidence of Donald Trump being the PDF file. And I suspect that's what he has on him. If I were thinking, man. Putin didn't want Iran bombed. Trump didn't capitulate to him then. That is true. And then Theophilus, we were just talking about that. Because it's kind of getting to a point, at what point does Donald Trump stop fearing that information? We're getting to the place in our technology where anybody, you and I, could go on and we could digitally create fake videos if we want with this AI technology, with the right stuff. We could create fake videos that showed him doing that sort of thing. So now I think Donald Trump may start getting it into his brain that, well, if it ever did come out, he'd just say it's all a lie and it wasn't real. It's fake. And that, I think, may be what's emboldening him with Trump. But I don't know. I think in a way he may just be caught in a rock and a hard place because he's got his Israeli financiers and his Benjamin Netanyahu, which is the Zionist MAGA of Israel, wanting his help because they're the same kind of birds of a feather, right? And but then also, I don't really think that Donald Trump, I don't think it... As far as Putin was going, is like, don't do that. Not, you better not do that. And then now that he's done it, he's like, you shouldn't have done that. Not, you shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? I don't think it really bothered Putin that much. And again, whenever we talk about who is better for Putin, Donald Trump, his puppet, and who's trying and has been trying to give him Ukraine and undermine his enemy in Ukraine, or Iran, who gives him nothing and who's done nothing for him. So who do you think, whenever balls comes to bones, I think Donald Trump is probably going, you know what? I am cutting the funding for Ukraine, and if Russia gets after us, I'll just start giving them their money back. You know what I mean? So or start giving them Ukraine their money. So I don't think it's that simple. I don't think Donald Trump is afraid of Putin in that area in that way. And, you've heard things like whenever Putin did something that Donald Trump says, I don't know why they're doing it. This is wrong. They're going to get people killed or something a couple of weeks ago. And then the Russian news people came out and said, well, Trump hasn't had time to think it all the way through yet. So they probably, what they do? Email him pictures to go, oh yeah, remember we got this shit on you, man. You need to keep yourself, quiet. Which Dim said nothing about the bombing? What are we talking about? That's a good question. Why didn't Biden release the files if Trump's in them? That's a good question. Yep. Well, I don't think there's any doubt Trump's in them. Whether he did something bad or not is something different. You can be in the files. There are people who allegedly went on trips or used the airplane but didn't actually do bad things. It's sort of like not everybody that hung out with Diddy went to his white party, to his freaky deaky parties. Some did, some didn't. By the way, Chris, I'm currently liberated from the capitalist cycle, so I have to pause all my memberships until my bank starts getting fed again. I'll miss the emojis, but it isn't because I want to. I understand, Amber, and I understand. I noticed your thing that you quit the job at the bad place, and I'm proud of you, and I wish the best for you. You're down in El Paso, right? You're not terribly far away from me, so hopefully things will go well for you. I am rooting for you. Are you going to move, or are you going to stay there? Are you roommates with Dr. Josh, or is that Bree? Not Dr. Josh. Dr. Ben. Let me see here. Yeah, so one of the things about Trump is now at this point, what could you hold over Trump? He's got all the money in the world. It's not like money. You're not going to Bree's in El Paso and she lives with Dr. Ben. Okay, good. So it's not like, you're gonna hurt him. He's got money. He's got all the money in the world. I don't think you could bribe him with money, really. It's power. And now look what he's doing. Now, one of the things is you can't bribe him with money, but by winning the election, he got out of prison because his ass was going to prison. Anybody else would have gone to prison. They can no longer say no one's above the law. They can never say that again here in our country. That's a fucking lie. And really, it's always been a lie. Anytime you have a situation where there's a fine instead of jail time for somebody who can pay a fine, somebody's above the law. All they got to do is go pay. A fine is just... You know what I mean? That's my feelings. We got a lot of things to fix in this country. Michael Beverly, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Deviant Outcast, 3 red shirts. Oh yeah, wordy. Let's see. Brown shirts, German national fascist stormtroopers. Yeah, black shirts, Mussolini's paramilitary fascist. Military, right? Red hats. Red hats are the same thing. Yep. U.S. white supremacist paramilitary terrorist group in the late 1900s. Red shirts. Beto McGrees was in the files. Beto McGrees? Who's Beto McGrees? Beto, you think Beto's? Is he old enough to be in the files? I don't know that he's old enough to be in the files. But you know what? If you're talking about Beto, the Beto O'Rourke, if you're talking about him, then so what? His ass needs to be exposed too. I don't care who's in there. It doesn't matter. Is Bill Clinton in there? I don't give a shit. You're not going to get me to go, oh, somebody I like is in there. We shouldn't have that. No, keep them quiet. No, fuck that. That's just ridiculous. I don't care who's in there. That's sort of like whataboutism. What about Obama's in there? What about Bill Clinton? I don't give a shit. If they're in there, we need to find out about it. Right? Obama and Biden was above the law. They said Biden was too stupid to go to court. No, I don't think you're right, man. Well, here's the difference. Did Obama or Biden get convicted of anything? Were they convicted? Don't be a douche. Ask the question. Were they convicted? No, they were not convicted of anything. They never went to court. They weren't tried. They weren't convicted of anything. Donald Trump went to court. He was arraigned, went to court. He was tried by a jury of his peers. One of them was even a MAGA, and they found him guilty on 34 charges. Felony charges, and yet he's not in prison. So is Obama above the law? Did he get convicted? If he got convicted, then let me know about it. Tell me about all the times that Obama got convicted and that Biden got convicted and how they somehow escaped prison because they got back in power and dismantled all the investigations and court proceedings that people had against them. Really? They got a free pass, but of course they did. False equivalency. Exactly right. I mean, goodness gracious. It's like Trump is cutting off your leg and you're like, but Obama took off my toenail over here. They're not even the same. It's not even the same. It's more whataboutism. And I don't really see why you would want to whataboutism with Biden anyway. I don't give a shit about Biden. I like and respect him, all that. I only voted for Biden because it was him or fucking Trump. But I would have voted for anyone else. He's not my fan. I'm not a fan of his. I don't sit here and go, ooh, Biden, but you keep throwing it out there like I give a shit. They said Biden wasn't coherent enough to be tried. Really? Donald Trump is coherent? Donald Trump is coherent. He just got finished talking about how our country... he was talking about the Gettysburg Address, or no, he was talking about one of them. and how our country gained its freedom. And then he started talking about World War II as if we gained our freedom in World War II. This guy is an absolute fucking moron. The only reason why he ever, I mean, this Adderall, I respect his Adderall. Funk, yeah, says Trump ultimately wants to be immortalized in pop culture. To him, every infamy is preferable to obscurity. And I mean, The Office, you just got to, have you not seen Donald Trump babble like a fucking idiot? Have you not seen him do it? Have you not seen him just go on the internet, dude? You could maybe find a little bit of misconfusion from Biden. Yeah, occasionally Biden misspeaks or some business. He does have a stutter, but go watch Donald Trump drivel as he speaks. Go watch some of the things he says. It's absolutely ridiculous how this man could ever be in president. He has no idea what's going on. He has no idea about our own history, none of that business, about how we became a free country, about the wars. You remember him talking about how they, during the Civil War, about how during the Civil War, they had to go defend the airports. Do you remember this? Well, I don't know. You say you're not a fan of Trump either, but you're not a hypocrite about it. What do you mean you're not a hypocrite about it? Or I'm not a hypocrite about it. I'm not a Biden fan. I'm sitting here talking about Trump. I ain't said nothing about Biden. You're the one that keeps saying Biden in here. I don't give a shit about Biden. I've already been over that. It was fucking the Biden or the fucking leopards that eat your face. That was my option. That was the only reason. And you're sitting there going, what about Biden? What about Biden? What about Obama? What about, fuck that, dude. I don't give a shit about what the fuck they did. It's Donald Trump is the one doing it. Donald Trump is the one who's going around removing due process from people. Now, how do you, it doesn't matter because they're not here illegal. They're here illegally. Well, how do you know if they're here illegally if you don't give them due process? Donald Trump has turned ICE into his own Gestapo. Donald Trump is just drooling for the opportunity to arrest liberal politicians. He's already done it a couple of times. He's just waiting for the opportunity. He's going to push things so far that we're going to have liberals out there going, man, this is bad. We got to stop it. We got to get this president out. And whenever the big enough one does it, Donald Trump's going to go on as arrested because that's treason, especially in a time of war. If Donald Trump gets us into any kind of war and then we speak out against the president, ICE is the American Gestapo. There's not a doubt about it. The differences between ICE or Trump and Biden are so fucking stark. It's ridiculous. At best, Biden was a nice little guy who did his best to try to do our country. At worst, he was going senile and couldn't manage it, and his staff took care of things for him. But our economy was doing great. Things were going fine. We did not have international wars going. We didn't have all this shit going on. We didn't have tariffs destroying our economy and the stock market going up and going down and going up and going down. We didn't have fascist Elon Musk going through and cutting out hundreds of thousands of government workers who've dedicated their lives to this thing. And you can't say it's government fraud and waste because they like to prosecute people. They love prosecuting people. Where are their examples? How come they're not tracing these wasteful people up on the thing and these people who stole money from the government? Why aren't they traipsing them across these courts and arresting them? Because they're not there. It was just an excuse for Elon Musk to partly destroy our country. Thank you, Donald Trump, but also to get investigations off of him and his business and all this other stuff. We've got documented evidence of this. We also have, my understanding, a whistleblower and evidence of Elon Musk and his goons going into places and allowing Russia access to our digital information. Go look this up. Go look it up on the internet. Whistleblower, Elon Musk, Russia, IP address. Go look that up and figure out the rest for yourself. The fascist revolution is in progress. Not sure how to stop it, by the way. It's actually, yes, it is. It is in the process. Let me just do a thing here. Let me do a thing. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourself. So I'm just doing here. Better? You feel better now? I do feel a little better, actually. Haven't had a headache just yet. Oh, fuck. Can't you just be brief already? Be brief. Get it out, Chris. Don't chase this down because they are doing so many bad things all at once. See, that's the whole thing. you can't, they're doing so many things all at once. Somebody out there has to chase down each one of them and bring them to justice on all of them. But they're doing so many that's what people, do I go this way? Do I go this way? Somebody needs to focus on the other one. 2024 campaign, authoritarian. Yeah. So essentially this would, Donald Trump is the equivalent to Hitler, 1933, his comeback and consolidation phase. Is that what? That's exactly what he's been doing. Donald Trump has been going through and gutting our government. And now he's doing, did you hear recently they got this thing going through where they got rid of the language that protects people in the VA. So if you're basically, what the deal is, if you're a doctor in the VA, you can ask a patient, hey, who did you vote for? And if they don't like the answer, they don't have to give you treatment. They can ask you, what religion? Are you not Christian? And they can refuse you treatment now. And whenever brought up about it, like, oh, we were just trying to get rid of extenuating language. But no, that was language there to protect people. It's just going to get worse. It's just going to, I kind of wish it would hurry. I really do. Because Donald Trump, I'm going to say it openly, Donald Trump and the conservative MAGA party need to be removed from office. Yep. Absolutely 100% need to be. Anybody show of hands? We all agree? All right, I'm going to take a quick break here. And do you guys, I think maybe you probably might want some, you already did goats. So I guess we might do the Pharaoh's Curse. Or do you want the pup? Or do you want Wild Bill? What do we get? Wild Bill here? Let's see what we got going on. Coke candles, Wild Bill. Smells like bacon. Aha. So, looks like Pharaoh's Curse. I shall return.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno, bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's Curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right, and we are back. Now, I did notice here that the office said he learned that from Obama using the IRS against conservatives. He didn't, really. Obama did not control the IRS. not like Trump controls things. And Obama didn't actually have to send the IRS after the conservatives. Conservatives are crooks, and they were being prosecuted by the IRS for cheating the government out of the taxes they were supposed to be paying. And that's why the IRS went after him. I know it's crazy to think that, but now if you were thinking that Obama was actually persecuting conservatives, then in that case, why didn't he go after hardcore Donald Trump during his election? He had the power of the IRS, the power of the Department of Justice. He had surely evidence that, because they had Donald Trump's tax returns, surely had evidence. Why did he go after him? You can't say Donald Trump is squeaky clean. If he were, he would have turned out his tax returns, but he never did. He's still never shown his tax returns. So why? I mean, where would you even think that Obama sent the IRS after? It's just it's not realistic. You know, Raven Lunatic, let's see, gasp. I just noticed that. Congrats. What happened? Congratulations on hitting over the 10K. Yeah, I did hit over the 10K mark. You know, Theophilus, I kind of rant, but thank you for your points, because it's interesting to see that. I don't want to be trapped in an echo chamber. And so it teaches me things, makes me look shit up. Deviant Outcast sent 5 Daily Atheist Morning Show gifts memberships. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Deviant Outcast. That is wonderful. I appreciate you. We'll get some memberships and we'll get some more emojis up. I've been kind of slacking. You know, we had a little bit of a slump. I do want to mention, I did do some advertising there for a while. I found this company. I did some advertising with them on the thing. I did not trust them, and I stopped it. You probably noticed me. I mentioned it a while back that I stopped the advertising. So I'm not doing, until I can find that I'm comfortable with, I'm not going to do any more advertising. All natural growth. So thank you very much, guys, for the stuff. Now, some of it will be natural growth, but I'm also going to be in. Don't tell me. I'm going to be out meeting people and doing things. We got the Ark Encounter protests. I'm going to be on Neil the 604 Atheist stream. I think this on the 30th of this month, maybe. Let me look here. I'll have to go look. I'm not sure when it is. 28th, I think. I'm going to be, so I'm going to be around and growing the channel. But yes, we did hit 10K. And I was thinking about, what do you guys think? Do you think I should have hey, we hit 10K stream? A big fancy stream and invite people? I don't know if I should do that, though. I might just do one of our morning shows. Hey, we hit 10K, and just have that be that. Kind of fun. Really, I think if I was to, I would like to go be a guest on like Justin's Deconstruction Zone. And hey, man, I'd rather go do that. And Raven Lunatic says, we need more subscriptions so we can cover Chris's face more often. Thank you. And it hurts. I both thank you and it hurts. Thank you, Raven. Make your morning show a 10K celebration stream. I think that probably ought to do it. We've been doing all kinds of things and thinkings and whatnot. I got to be honest, though, in a way, I'm probably getting to where I need a break of some kind. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I'm cranking out show videos over on the Theocracy Watch channel, the Chris Mallard channel, my channel. I'm getting a little growth. It's just not really doing, I'm doing a lot of work and not getting a lot of feedback. Not feedback, but growth that I expect. And it's wearisome. It's getting on, kind of grinding upon me. I may need some kind of break before long. Parties are great, but often folks feel left out. Yeah. Part of the deal is Donald Trump doesn't seem to be really concerned. Theophilus says Article 5 is referring to a constitutional convention, and with Donald Trump in office, I don't trust that they won't screw us over. Me either, to be honest. And I don't really see at this point in the conversation. I think Donald Trump doesn't care. He's getting to where there's nobody who can stop him here in the United States. I don't, So I'm just eager to see what's going to happen over the next month or so as these things play out. I'm going to take this shirt off, guys. Brown chicken, brown cow, because I'm just hot. It's hot in here. It's getting hot. Let's see. Brink, Neurogeezer. Neurogeezer, I hope you're doing great. How is Casey Malone? I haven't got to catch her stream. It's usually right before mine, and I'm busy, but I really enjoy her. I'd like to get her to come on the show. You think she'd come on the show? She just kind of sits there and rattles like me, so I think we'd be great rattling. I have to shut up long enough for her to rattle. Good morning, Sal Sarna. You paying any attention to the mayoral race in New York City? Think it's a canary in a coal mine for Democrats? Probably. No, I think... Well, I don't know. They're all crooks, aren't they? All of them. Both sides, I think. Aren't they all criminals? Convicted of stuff, all of them. I'm convinced he stole the election with Elon's help, and New York is investigating it right now. Yes, they are. And you know what? I really wish I need to keep up on that. I think he stole it too. I think he had help in the last one through social media and millions of dollars of Russian money and Russian trolls. Not that Russia had to give Trump money in 2015. All Russia had to do was create these trolls and troll farms. They're documented troll farms that supported Donald Trump. Facebook, social media. That's part of the reason why. Damn it, the Facebook guy was drug up in front of Congress. You know. Every time you hear a stupid opinion, take an article of clothing off. No, I would be so naked. I'd be removing tattoos. Zuckerberg, thank you for that. Zuckerberg, yeah, he was dragged in front of Congress for some of that shit. There were bomb threats the night of the election. You know, how come they aren't investigating the anonymous pizzas being delivered? How in this day and age can you buy pizzas anonymously all across the country and send them to judges without, do they use a credit card? Do they use a burner phone? Where do they buy that burner phone? There's got to be some investigations into this. I just don't think right now Donald Trump has any interest in investigating this. And I think if I remember correctly, the department the department that's in charge of guarding the judges is the U.S. Federal Marshals, I believe. I think they're the ones in charge of guarding the judges. That doesn't mean they're the ones in charge of investigating, these threats. They're threats is what they are. You see, this is Theophilus. All right, that's something that I think Rion Cultastic would agree with you on, and to a degree. It says, I think the Democrats lost to Trump on purpose because he's their guy. I don't think he's their guy. But I do think they lost on purpose. I could be convinced of that. Not because I would see them more as being bought out. Not that they actually liked Trump, but the money was good enough. And, I'm just alleging. I don't know for sure. But there are those who why is Debbie Wasserman Schultz even remotely still in power? After what she and her group did to Bernie Sanders that cost him the nomination that led us directly to Donald Trump's first term? Why is she still in any kind of power? I'm just kind of curious about that. The Marshal Service, the U.S. Marshal Service. Thank you. Did I misspeak? What did I say? Anyway, the Marshal Service. It is the Marshal Service. Thank you for that. The big brutal bill would increase the funding for ICE to hire thousands of more agents. I know. Yeah, this bill, I really wish they could get it to stop. I don't think they're going to, but yeah. Let's see here. Scott, or is it Scott? Oh, Soot Kettle. Hi, Soot Kettle. We have plenty of trolls here too, spreading mistrust towards the government and higher institutions. That's right. A lot of our government and higher institutions, especially our higher institutions, are good. Hitler went after the universities. You can actually go look up the White Rose. They were a group of university students who were speaking out against Hitler and his regime, and they were printing leaflets, and they were executed by Nazis for printing leaflets, exposing what they were. College students. They burned Bernie, but if Kamala won the presidency, then this is a coup. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. This is a coup. YouTubers grudge. This is a coup. And I would like to, I really think this is a political coup by Donald Trump with the help of Elon Musk, and I'd like to know what the hell we can do about it. Can we pull them out of office and throw them in prison, or we just respect them and let them finish out their term, and then let them vote, or let people vote them to not go? I mean, what the fuck? You're right. And now they still all have all their money, so then they can continue with their misinformation campaigns. KCA Randy, if they're all on the same time, then this is both sidesing it. Yeah. Call your senators and urge them not to support the big, beautiful bill. Democrats must not vote for cloture. You know what? I tell you, any Democrat that votes for this big, beautiful bill needs to freaking be primaried and removed. I mean, oh, you do say that. Thank you, Neural Geezer, for saying that. Let me see if you responded about Casey. I don't know if you did. You might not have been listening. And it'll only go back so far. Oh, you didn't see Casey. She has talked about being a spiritual atheist. I fear she's dabbling in woo. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen a few of her shows, and she usually goes, when I see it, it's political. I haven't really seen much against her other stuff. But Daily Atheist Morning Show. Suit Kettle is my fiance, so he's talking about Sweden. We're nowhere close to U.S. situation, but it's concerning nonetheless, because, sorry, we don't want to be the U.S. No doubt. Are you guys taking people? The evil one and I, I would love to live in Sweden, except for it's cold. Could you move further south, probably down near Greece? If you would move, that beautiful Grecian water, the water down there where it's all pretty and there's like beaches and stuff. If you would just move Sweden down there for me, I'd see it as a kindness. Let me know, though. Let me know. I got my bikini ready. Got my bikini ready to head to Sweden. That sounds funny, but Swedish bikini models are actually a thing. Just saying. Don't knock it. Hey, Native Atheist. Native Atheist says I'm a spiritual atheist. Well, you would be. Native Americans are very spiritual, I think, aren't they? Isn't that kind of part of their shtick? But I got to be honest. I've never had a Native American, and I don't remember any Native American. I don't know a lot about Native American infighting, but I don't know of any infighting in Native American history where the purpose of the fighting was to force the beliefs of one group onto the beliefs onto another. It's probably territory or, resources, women, buffalo, whatever. But I kind of doubt they ever went to war just over their differences in mythologies. I could be wrong, though. Native atheists, school me on that, man. World War III is coming, whether in the next few years or decade or 20 years. It's coming. I'd like to hide in Canada where I don't have to pay $15,000 for health bills per year. That's the whole deal, Vic. I mean, for that much money, $15,000, I would think for 1 year's worth of health bills, you could use that money and move to Canada, couldn't you? Would they not take you? I've thought about that before. If I were an American who had just crippling medical bills, why not just move away? I mean, it's going to destroy me financially. I could either sell my house, my car, and all this other business, move to another country, buy another house, another car, and have medical care. Or I can sell my house and car here, live dirt poor on the street and fully in debt. You know what I mean? Let's see here. You cannot just move to Canada. Well, but if we swim across the border, would we be called snowbacks? Is that how that works? And then we would be they'd form a snowback football team. And we're like, no, that's racist. You can't call them snowbacks. It would actually be a hockey team, wouldn't it? Oh, see, that's the whole deal. Thank you, Brent. Hey, don't paint all American Indians with the same brush. It's a highly varied and old history. Exactly true. I'm no doubt. I totally get that. See here, Brent A's got a great point. The Aztecs needed a sacrifice for their gods. That's one thing to go get somebody and take them and sacrifice them for your gods. It's another thing to impose your gods upon other people. I really don't think either are good. Brent, so I don't think I'm going to win this argument. Vic Liz says, I'd love that, Chris, but it's the difference between being disabled on the street in chronic pain in Canada or under a roof with a small income and small improvements in my disability in Texas. That's the whole deal. In Canada, they have minimum basic income that you would at least get some basic housing and medical care. In Texas, they'll gladly step over you outside of a hospital. Just saying. But the cold, right? The cold gets me. I don't think I'd want to go to the cold. Stay away from Canada. It's cold. You get eaten by a bear. No, I'm allergic to bear venom. Bear venom. I'm allergic to it. I can't get within like 900 miles of bear venom. Let's see. So you get eaten by a bear, a cougar. I don't know. I ain't so afraid of a cougar. I've met a few. I might eat me a cougar. You never know. Oh, wait. Wrong kind of cougar. A badger, a wolverine, stomped by a caribou. I would not want to get stomped by a wild moose. I have seen them. They're huge. I would not. I mean, it's like they are huge, and I would not want to get stomped. Bear, I know, right? Rainbow ash, bear venom. I'm not falling for that shit. Can you imagine? I'd be praying, hurry, bear venom, kick in and kill me before it finishes eating my liver. Would the bear venom get you first, or the gnawing of your internal organs? The YouTuber says it would be hard for Chris to get a cougar. No, I don't know. If a guy comes to a bank in Switzerland whispering, "I'd like to deposit $1 million," the bank clerk says, "It's no shame to be poor here. You don't have to whisper." Yeah, only $1 million. I wish that were my problem. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you all for joining me today. I'm sorry Miss Rion wasn't feeling good. The chat, she was in here visiting briefly. Mondays are always our slowest day. Smallest audience always. So I'm okay. I think it's awesome. You guys are fantastical. Paul Camish has been a member for 5 months. Thank you, Paul Camish. Paul Camish gave 10 real pounds of money. Is that how you would say it? 10 pounds. Says, good morning, you crazy people. Chris, 10 UK pounds for a cup of tea. Thank you for Paul. And Deviant Outcast sent 5 Daily Atheist Morning Show gift memberships. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate you very much. Guys, I appreciate you. I'm going to go hang out with the evil one, maybe feed her some breakfast or something. I don't know what's going to happen because she's off today. And you have a wonderful day. Keep your ear to the ground. It's going to be some interesting weeks, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there. It's going to be crazy. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the ghost in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goats, the scent that leads the way. Slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen